Let's take a look at the steps to create your very first guidebook. The first step is to go to your sidebar menu under the Guidebook section and click on Content Editor. Here you'll see a card for each of your active properties, and each card shows a button that says Create Guidebook. So let's click on Create Guidebook. Now here we're given the option of starting from a template or starting from scratch. In this first example, I'm going to choose Start from Scratch. This is the editor page where you'll build out most of the content in your guidebook. At the top of the page, you'll see a selector that lets you select between your active properties. You see a section here with some settings that we'll get into in depth in a separate video. You can see the guest preview over here that will show all of the changes that you make as you edit. And then over here, we've got the area where we will add all of the content. Before we begin, I'll briefly explain the structure that's used to organize all of your content. A typical guidebook would have 5 or 6 sections, such as planning your trip, arrival information, rules, etc. We call those sections, and each section can contain topics. So for example, your arrival information section may have topics such as the address, parking, how to get in. And within those topics, you have the actual content. For example, a topic may contain multiple different types of content, such as a photo and a headline and text, a video. You can have multiple different types of content within each topic. I think it helps to understand that your actual content, such as text and photos and videos, are actually content blocks, and your content blocks are contained within topics, and your topics are contained within sections. You can have multiple sections, and you can have multiple topics within a section, and you can have multiple content blocks within each topic. So with that in mind, let's add our first section. We'll just click on the Add Section button. And here we're given the choice of creating a new section or browsing the library. We'll get into the library in a little bit, but for now, let's just create a new section. We can choose the icon for this section. We're going to call this Planning, so I'm going to choose this icon. We'll name the section Planning Your Trip and save. Okay, so now we have a section, it's empty. Within the section, we can add a topic. So we'll click on Add Topic. Again, we have the option to create a new topic or browse the library. Let's go ahead and choose Create New Topic. Now the first thing you notice that the topic window has a lot more controls and options. There's these visibility settings along the top. We'll get into that a little more in depth in another video. But the important thing to notice in the topic window is we have blocks. We have the content blocks. You'll start with the one content block. You can always add a block. You can add multiple blocks, and those blocks can all be different types of content. So by default, it's a text block. We can make that an image block. We can make that an image carousel, a video, etc. We'll get into all of those different content types in another video. For right now, I'm going to delete that extra block. Got a basic text block here. And just for the sake of the demo, we're going to give this topic a title and call it just a demo topic. And in the text window, we'll say this is just a demo. And we've got a lot of controls here for the text. And then let's just say save the topic. So now you can see you've got a topic within your first section. And over here in the guest preview, just refresh that and we can instantly see the section and topic that we just created. And it's fully interactive. We can see how the guest will see the content we've created. Now let's add one more topic, but this time let's browse the library. As you can see, we have no items in our library. We haven't created anything yet, but there is a community library where any other user can save content that they've created that they think might be useful to others. And in this case, we've got some image content, we've got some text. I'm going to grab this one. You can see a preview of what the text is and say use item. And just like that, we've got a new topic or a new content block in a new topic. Now, just for the fun of it, let's add one more block to this topic. Click add block and let's get it from the library. And let's drop in one of these image content blocks. Okay, so that appears down at the bottom here. And let's say I want the picture above the text. I can just drag it up here. And I can preview what this will look like. So there's our picture and text. It doesn't make any sense, but that's fine. Now let's do this one more time. And this time we're going to use a fully completed template. So let's use the same property. I'm just going to quickly delete the sections. You'll notice right now that there's a save as template button, but if all the sections are deleted, it turns into a browse templates button. So let's go to browse templates. And this time I know I have a template in the community library that I've created for one of my properties. Let's click that, say use item, and just like that, I've got a complete guidebook with everything that I set up for the other property. Now this is a great time saver if you have multiple properties that have similar characteristics, similar amenities, or if you have a multi-unit property where things are virtually identical. It's a great way to repurpose the content. So that's just a quick overview that I hope will get you started on building your first guidebook. Be sure to check out some of the other videos that will go a little more in depth into some of the options that we just skimmed over in this video.